It's not Monday. It's not Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. Yes! It's Thursday.
It's okay, Scrady.
Thirsty Thursday.
Yay!
Very
He's
nice.
my hero. I love that guy. That was beautiful. I got a tear in my eye. I'll try not to blink.
We really should just get you to re-record that song. I don't know how much it costs, but it's got to be way better than what Scrady did. Oh, my goodness.
The abridged Pat McCurdy version of the Thursday song from many years ago. I never really officially asked him to re-record it.
It's not like you guys don't hang out. You could ask him.
We're buddies. I could probably get him to do it. Gonna hang out with him tomorrow night, in fact.
Is this Canadian tuxedo
It is.
night?
Denim Dan. Canadian tuxedo night.
And you have your outfit already?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Is it a sport coat?
It's a scene, man. It's a scene. Excuse me. Welcome to Thursday. Starting to warm up.
Yeah. Almost 20 today. isn't
Looking
it?
at
Almost
about 20 degrees for a high today, somewhere around the same tomorrow. And then into the 30s on Saturday and into the 40s by Sunday.
Yeah, I'm finally walking the dogs. It's been a couple days. That wasn't about that.
A lot of in and out.
Wasn't about that.
In and out, and then right back in.
Yes.
The whole 9 yards.
I didn't wear my extra puffy jacket today. That's how much it's not.
Did your mom buy it for you?
No, I bought it for myself, but it's extra puffy. But today, a little less puffy.
It is Hypothetical Thursday. We'll ask each other hypothetical questions later on, see what our responses are. Office Cora going to join us just after 8 to talk about her weekend. Coming up in the 715, see what she's got going on. Bad news, happy music, the friggin' sports, lots of other stuff to get to. If you need anything, you can get in touch with us by visiting rockmornings.com. You can also sign up to win date night. We'll do that tomorrow for both Eau Claire and La Crosse. Somebody in the Eau Claire area going to get pizza from Rocky Rococo's and passes for a movie at the Micon Cinemas. And then someone in the La Crosse area will get pizza at Saxon Hall in Brownsville and passes at the Marcus Cinema on Ward Ave.
It's a date night. It's a good weekend, regardless. You've got free food and free movie passes.
Music coming up from Shinedown. Their latest also gets some Jackal.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Looks like the passengers on the Delta airline that crashed in Toronto earlier this week are getting an offer of $30,000 apiece.
Clear to land, 23, Endeavor, 4819. We're going to Wingham.
Wingham, okay. No problem. Are you able to go to 2,000?
We can give it a try for the weather link at 1 minute back.
This airplane just crashed at 23. Play 1 minute back. I got no traffic here, so just let me know what you'd like to do. We just had a crash on runway 23 here.
Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft is upside down and burning.
Yeah, obviously, we heard the story. We read about the passengers surviving, all 80 of them, a few, serious injuries, but everybody else escaping with their lives, and the videos of that thing flipping upside down and catching fire, just crazy. But Delta now offering $30,000 to each passenger on that plane that crashed as it landed at a Toronto airport earlier this week. Company spokesperson said this gesture has no strings attached and does not affect rights of passengers. Monday, Delta Airlines plane departing from Minneapolis hit the runway hard at Toronto's main airport and flipped upside down.
Sure did. Turned upside down and skidded, and the wing came off, and then it kind of was on fire, too.
Latest in a string of incidents in North America, including the mid-air collision between the U.S. Army helicopter and a passenger jet that killed 67 people just outside of D.C. Medical transport plane that crashed in Philadelphia, left 7 dead. That was about a week later. And now, all of a sudden, we got another one. At least 2 people have died after 2 small single-engine planes collided midair yesterday at an airport in Arizona, according to officials.
Yep. Small airplanes go in and out of uncontrolled fields frequently. They depend on radio positions to tell each other where the airplanes are, and also visually to watch out for other airplanes. Similar to driving a car, you look outside to make sure you don't hit anything.
Yeah, apparently this airfield is an uncontrolled field. Marana Regional Airport. This was at about 8:30 in the morning yesterday. It does not have an operating air traffic control tower. It's about 21 miles northwest of Tucson. The National Transportation Safety Board will, of course, lead the investigation. But based on preliminary info, the aircraft collided while upwind of runway 12. The Cessna landed uneventfully, while the Lancair impacted terrain near runway 3, and a post-impact fire ensued. And they know that 2 people now have died in that plane crash, which happened yesterday in Arizona. Quick Trip. Everybody loves Quick Trip, right? Clean bathrooms. See you next time.
Getting
Glazers.
a big award. Is that getting a big award?
Yeah, I don't know if they get an award for this, but being recognized as one of the top 100 best large employers by Forbes magazine. Quick Trip 76 on the list, so not just 99 or 100, but in the bottom third there or quarter, but still pretty damn good. Company has more than 850 convenience stores under the Quick Trip or Quick Star name. In the Midwest, more than 36,000 people employed by the company. Forbes compiles this yearly ranking based on anonymous surveys from employers with each company. Quick Trip came in 13th on another Forbes list, which was for best customer service. Mayo Clinic also making the top 100, coming in at number 23.
Mm-hmm. Way to go. See you next time.
See you next time. Yeah, you too. And you're like, what? What did I say?
It was crazy. We went this weekend to when we went down to see my mom, and we had to stop and fill up on our way home. And it was a Shell station, and we were both like,
what do we do?
What is
Walk in there and you're like,
how is this a thing? What is happening? Why isn't this a KT?
It boggled my mind to see people eating food from a gas station when I moved here in 2003. And I was like, what are you doing? No one eats food from a gas station.
And now you're like, let's go get some chicken.
And now I'm like, what's on the hot spot today? Yeah. Trump administration giving America's schools and universities 2 more weeks to eliminate diversity initiatives or risk losing federal money. In a memo last week, Education Department gave an ultimatum to stop using racial preferences as a factor in admissions, financial aid, hiring, and other areas. Schools are now got 14 days to end any practice that treats students or workers differently because of their race. Educators at colleges nationwide rushing to evaluate their risk and decide whether to stand up for the practices they believe are legal. The sweeping demand, of course, threatening to upend all aspects of campus operations, from essays on college applications to classroom lessons, campus clubs, and more. Craig Traynor, acting assistant secretary for civil rights, said schools have been operating on the pretext that selecting students for diversity or similar euphemisms is not selecting them based on race. No longer. Students should be assessed according to merit, accomplishment, and character. And last but not least, it looks like we may need to get Harry Stamper off that oil rig and send him into outer space. There's an asteroid coming, and the possibility that it could hit Earth apparently has increased in percentage.
To what?
Like 3%? Well, NASA doesn't mess around, right? I mean, look, they got a job to do, and they're going to do it.
Yeah.
The chances of a giant space rock striking Earth have decreased, but NASA and other space agencies are still devising a plan to obliterate it. Asteroid 2024 YR4, a recently discovered planetoid, now has a 1.5% probability of making impact with Earth, even though there was the new probability is down from the previously reported 2.6% and above the initial 1% chance in late January. And international agencies are plotting a way to destroy the chunk of rock if need be. Somebody, a project manager at the Kennedy Space Center, said, "No one is panicking, but it is definitely what we're talking about in the hallways of NASA. We know we have enough time to act, but now's the time to start planning. You can't half-ass this at the last minute."
Someone from NASA said half-ass?
Yeah. Apparently it's as wide as the Statue of Liberty is tall. The asteroid estimated to be between 130 and 300 feet in width. If it were to improbably strike Earth in December of 2032, about 110 million Earthlings would be at risk. Be coming in hot at about 38,000 miles per hour. It would likely plummet into the eastern Pacific Ocean, northern South America, the Atlantic Ocean, Africa, the Arabian Sea, or South Asia. So a pretty wide swath of places it could hit, but
let's
they don't
not
mess around.
half-ass it, NASA.
Well, they don't mess around. They look at 1.5% and they say, that's it. We got to come up with something.
Yep. Let's devise a plan.
Yeah, you send drillers and you
Big
drill,
slingshot.
drill baby drill, and you drop the nukes in and you leave Harry Stamper up there and, yo, Harry, you the man.
Yeah.
We've seen that movie. Michael Bay made it for us. Thank you very much.
Have they called him? See what his opinion is?
Yeah, I don't think Bruce Willis is going to make it out, unfortunately. But We'll see what happens. We got till 2032. 7 more years. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Get to sports in a bit. Also some Jackal after Shinedown.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Jackal. Pow!
Bow.
The Lumberjack. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Bucks are at home tonight. Back on the hard court after the All-Star break. Taking on the Clippers at 7 p.m. Looks like they will be without Giannis again.
Yeah, it's still resting that leg.
Still continuing to rehab that calf muscle. So, number 11, Wisconsin hosting unranked Oregon at 11 a.m. on Saturday on Fox.
Morning game.
Yep. Trying to finish the season strong. I think they got, 5-6 games left in the regular season before March comes around and we get to the madness.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. It's the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game.
That's tonight?
Between the United States of America and those dirty poutine-eating mofos from Canada. It's America's hat, our 51st state. We'll see what happens during the national anthem. I got a feeling that those Boston fans are going to get drunk as hell in the afternoon, and they're going to boo the hell out of the Canadian national anthem, and especially if President Trump shows up. I haven't heard definitively if he's going to be there in the house. I know they invited him, but we'll see. Tonight on ESPN, though, and ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, the U.S. versus Canada and the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game. And the U.S. better win, because if we go out there and lay a fart, it's going to look real bad. Real bad. By the way, they'll be without one of their defensemen.
Uh-oh.
Charlie McAvoy, of course, suffering an injury. And defenseman Quinn Hughes will not travel to Boston to join the U.S. as a replacement option for the Four Nation Face-Off Championship game against Canada. The Americans instead will have Buffalo Sabres center Tage Thompson and New Jersey Devils defenseman Brett Pesce as injury insurance for tonight's finale. Meanwhile, if you're not doing anything at 2 o'clock this afternoon,
put me in cold.
Yeah.
What?
I'm ready to play.
It's today?
Yes, it is. Cactus League gets underway. Dodgers and Cubs. In the first spring training game of the season, Brewers play on Saturday at 2:10 against the Reds. But today you've got baseball on TV. Not great baseball, but baseball, baby. In the NFL, the Chargers have been announced as the host of the NFL's second regular season game in Brazil.
Okay. Weren't they talking about nobody wants to be there?
Nobody wants to be there.
Is that
Yes. No one wants to go to Brazil. But the NFL doesn't care.
Okay, they don't have a say. It's like these are the two teams
look, the NFL wants to expand to a global market, and so we're having games in England and Germany and all sorts of Ireland. They're going to Brazil. They're going to Mexico City. I mean, they're going to all these places. So we saw it last year with the Packers going down there. We heard all the stories about how scary it is in Brazil and how they're not supposed to leave the hotels and all that stuff. But this year it'll be the Chargers. They haven't announced a opponent for the team, but the Chargers will face somebody. An opponent to be announced. This will be in Sao Paulo Friday, September 5th, the day after the NFL season kicks off on Thursday night.
Okay.
Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to music from Daughtry and Green Day in just a bit. If you need something, you can text us on the Rock line at 608-784-0957. You can find all our contact info on the website, rockmornings.com.
So this draft coming to Green Bay, huh? $94 million into the...
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Area, what is it? At 24th through the 26th, apparently?
It's going to be huge.
250,000 people coming to the area, and hotels, obviously, you can't put all those people in Green Bay, so you're talking about that.
Ashwaubenon and all the places around there.
Milwaukee, the UP.
Anywhere within an hour, I think people are going to be staying.
First small market draft ever for the NFL. Usually in
we saw last year Detroit, how big it was. It was massive. And now this year, they're taking it to a small market, but rabid fan base, obviously, in Green Bay.
Yeah, millions and millions of dollars for that economic impact and trying to figure out where people are going to go. And regionally reaching as opposed to a city. All the money staying in Detroit, for instance. This is obviously has a much larger lifeblood and impact.
Yeah, and the Packer Tailgate Tour, which is going to be making its way around the state in early April, it'll be interesting to see what kind of questions they get and what kind of responses we get. I'm sure people will be asking about that because the draft will be shortly after that.
Yeah, I was wondering how much they're going to talk about that when they...
So, Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. We'll get to that Daughtry and Green Day in just a bit. Stick around.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
I love my pets. I love my pets. And they love me. And they love me. They're my best friend. They're my best friends. So cuddly. I wash them. Feed them. Buy them toys. You're all my pets. Let's make some noise.
National Love Your Pet Day. Isn't that every day?
Not last night, it wasn't.
Maybe not when they eat chicken off the counter.
God damn.
When are you going to learn? How many times does this have to happen?
She doesn't do that normally. That was Winnie. Winnie ate everything.
Says the lady who's had it happen to her several times now. I know Winnie used to, but look, Junie's catching up here. You got to start being proactive instead of reactive. Push the food back further or put it up higher where she can't get it. And then that'll stop the problem. I mean, you leave the food where she can access it, that's what's going to happen.
It was on the counter, pushed back, and it had tinfoil over it. Okay? It's not like I put it out on the floor and
Sure,
said,
it
leave this
smelled
alone.
delicious.
Well, I know it did. But I literally was gone out of the room for like a minute, 2 minutes. Damn dog. Love your pet day.
Love your pet day. It's also National Muffin Day.
I can't believe somebody pulled the top off this muffin. That was me. I'm sorry. I don't like the stumps.
So you just eat the tops?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the best part. It's crunchy. It's explosive. It's where the muffin breaks free of the pan and sort of does its own thing. I'll tell you, that's $1 million idea right there. Just sell the tops.
Yeah, they do.
National Muffin Day, National Love Your Pet Day, Clean Out Your Bookcase Day.
That is specific.
Could use some of that at my house.
I know. That's why you got a little library so you can purge.
Need to burn that thing to the ground.
And then
What a
people
waste of my time that was. Ain't no books ever going anywhere.
No?
It's just been stagnant. It's like a pool of water just sitting there. Stagnant.
No one ever takes a book?
I occasionally, maybe once every couple of, and I get it. It's winter. Not everybody's walking around checking out the little libraries and all that stuff. But boy, even when we do get people looking at it, nothing ever goes anywhere. Every time I drive by, I see the same bunch of books in it. It's like, yeah. I don't know what to do. Clean out your bookcase day. Also, it's National Handcuff Day.
And your name, sir?
My name is Robert Jabba.
Are there any weapons in the house?
I don't know, knives and such. I don't know what she got before she handcuffed me. It could be enough. Ow! Ow!
What is she doing now, sir?
Yeah, she's taking her head out. She's bothering me. Are they almost here? I can't get to the door to open it.
Okay, is it locked?
The door's locked.
Okay, so they're going to have to break in?
Yes.
What started this, sir? Do you know? Why did she do this?
Because I divorced her, or started leaving her, and ow!
That poor bastard.
Yes.
He got handcuffed by his wife, who he was trying to divorce. We can obviously see why that was probably a good idea for him. And then she was biting him and hitting him with a broom or something.
Face was locked, too. The cops couldn't get in. That's bad. Bad news. Don't do that. I'm handcuffed.
Clean out your bookcase day, National Handcuff Day, National Love Your Pet Day, and also National Muffin Day. Enjoy a muffin with some handcuffs on. Television tonight, of course, the Four Nations Face-Off.
7 o'clock? Is that 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. Also, the season finale of Extreme Makeover Home Edition on ABC. On NBC tonight, you got Law & Order. Meanwhile, on Fox, Next Level Chef. Third series premiere of Reacher on Prime Video. Based on the Tom Cruise films. Also today, I'm interested in seeing this. The series premiere of Zero Day on Netflix. A former U.S. president called out of retirement to help investigate a deadly cyber attack. It stars Robert De Niro, Angela Bassett, Jesse Plemons, and Connie Britton.
3,402 people died on Zero Day.
Absolute nationwide terror.
Computer systems completely hijacked.
A significant number of casualties.
Every phone in America displayed the same haunting message. This will happen again.
Zero Day. Netflix today.
Series.
Says a series, yeah. So I thought it was a movie, but. Also, the premiere of Memes and Nightmares on Hulu. It's a satire film about NBA Twitter and memes. I guess you got to care about that crap if you want to watch it. Also on the boob tube tonight, Matlock, Animal Control, Law & Order, SVU, and Elsbeth. Late night shows are all in repeats except for Stephen Colbert, who's got Al Roker and Monica Lewinsky as his guests.
A little something extra came out. I pooped my pants.
Al Roker pooping his pants. Big thanks to Nikki for the text message. A little suggestion for Jean, who can't seem to figure out how to keep her dog from counter surfing.
I can figure it out. I'm just telling you, she doesn't normally do this. Winnie, we knew how to.
How many times does this happen now with Junie?
Only a couple.
Okay.
Honestly.
I know. I'm just saying. Now it's becoming a habit where she realizes, hey, I can get up here and get some delicious treats. You understand the mind of a dog, right?
I do understand, but normally she's so timid and afraid, and like I left she would
not
never,
when there's delicious chicken up there.
She would never think of that if I'm like right over there and I'm going to be coming back. Of
course not. My dogs don't do anything when I'm around because I'll kick their ass.
But I mean, even in the house, it's one thing when she knows we've left. It's another thing when I'm just using the bathroom and coming right back into the room. She would typically she's way too afraid of.
Nikki says I use mouse traps to stop the dogs from counter surfing. Once they get snapped, you don't even have to set them anymore. I have mouse traps all over my kitchen. LOL, and no, we don't have a rodent problem. Have a great day. So you set one up, and when the dog goes up there, it snaps, and they learn their lesson. It's like a cat in tinfoil. If you don't want the cat climbing up on the fridge or the countertops or whatever, they say to put tinfoil up there, and it freaks the cat out.
I like the feel of it.
Obviously, I don't know how barbaric it is to have a mousetrap snap onto your dog's paw.
All that. I'm not
that
doing
doesn't
all
sound
that.
like a Gene thing, but
it's not a me thing. And it's not even about it that it might hurt her. It's that I got to deal with what? I put mouse traps up all the time for when I walk out of the room and come right back to making dinner. I'm
just saying, like, maybe on top of the fridge or, like, figure out another place in the kitchen that can go so it's not on the countertop. Because obviously the counter is, like, where the limit is for her, right? In terms of being able to get at
like
stuff.
I said, it's out of character. It's out of, I don't know what happened.
Maybe
she was
you should feed your
possessed by
dog.
a demon.
Are you feeding her?
She was, no, we stopped feeding her weeks ago. Is that a problem?
I'm just busting your balls. Relax.
Is that a problem?
That you stopped feeding them? Yeah, whatever. They'll figure it out. They'll find chicken on the counter eventually. Thank you, Nikki, for the text message. Rockmornings.com to get in touch with us. Hypothetical Thursday. We'll be asking some hypothetical questions a bit later on. Office Cora is going to join us just after 8 to let us know what she's up to this weekend in the 715. We'll get to bad news, happy music, and the friggin' sports. And it's also not just Muffin Day and Handcuff Day and Love Your Pet Day. It's National Cherry Pie Day. So why not some more?
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
The late, great Janny Lane and Warrant with Cherry Pie.
On Cherry Pie Day.
National Cherry Pie Day. That was another snack that I had a problem with growing up. I was a fat kid, so... No, the Hostess ones. The Hostess ones. The ones at the store, the frosted ones?
Yes.
Good Lord.
Did you warm those up alongside of your Cinnabons
those
or
were
whatever?
those were raw, just going at it. Just couldn't get it out of the package fast enough.
In
fat
your
kid.
lunchbox?
I didn't know. I mean, I just, whenever I'd go to the store, it was, Well, that Little Debbie area, it was like the fudge rounds, the oatmeal cream pies. the honey buns, I mean, all that stuff. And then you had the Hostess cakes right at the top. And I worked at Kirkpatrick's, the store right up the street from my parents' house. I was there, when I was a teenager, and I was making my own money, so I was just gorging myself on cigarettes and cassette tapes and snacks. Oh, yeah. National Cherry Pie Day. Excuse me. You and I, obviously, very different in a lot of ways. One of the things that always is interesting is that you remember your dreams. I have zero ability to remember dreams. Occasionally, maybe once every 5 years, I'll remember bits and pieces of a dream. But you can come in here and paint a brilliant picture of what you dream about, and I cannot do that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting. I don't know if it's because I drink a lot or if my brain's just a mess.
Well, I think that's common. There's people who remember dreams and people who don't. My husband doesn't remember them, for instance.
But there has been a new comprehensive study, and it says that 3 factors can contribute to whether someone remembers their dreams. Number 1, a person's general attitude towards dreaming. People who view dreams as meaningful were more likely to remember them. That seems pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think that interpreting your dreams is a sign of things to come, or how your subconscious is feeling about something in your life.
You take them more important. You put a bigger value on them, and so therefore you try to remember.
I think of dreams as just a waste of time.
Well,
Your sleep
they're happening, whether
but your brain, you're sleeping, and your brain is just continuing to work, and it's like, things, bro, take a break. Just go. Can we go to silent mode here? Like, can we just shut it down for a couple hours? That's what I assume. Should happen when you're sleeping. Is that everything just sort of takes a pause, but the brain is like.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, their typical sleep patterns can determine and contribute to whether or not someone remembers their dreams. This is the most scientific of the factors. People who typically have longer periods of lighter sleep with less deep sleep were better at remembering their dreams, so you don't fully go under.
That's what I was wondering.
How treading water.
Yeah, how the sleep pattern goes is probably more important about whether you remember them or not.
And number 3, their tendency to let their mind wander during waking hours, so a daydream. The participants who regularly caught themselves daydreaming or engaging in spontaneous thoughts during the day were more likely to remember their dreams even overnight.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Yeah. So if you daydream and if you get light sleep as opposed to deep sleep, and you consider dreams to be important and impactful on your regular daily life, then you probably will remember them more than someone else. Also, out of this comprehensive study about people who remember their dreams versus people who don't, younger people better at remembering dream specifics, while older people more frequently reported white dreams, where you wake up knowing you definitely had a dream but can't remember anything about it. I get those. Like, I'll wake up and there's a residual sort of
feeling,
like
or
half asleep.
thought.
And I think the problem is, for me, I try to remember them and I'm like, quickly trying to download the data in my brain, like hit the save button, and then something happens or I get out of bed and all of a sudden it's gone.
We have a coworker who wakes up and like I've had a dream, and like instantly takes a couple notes just to because
the Jerry Seinfeld.
10 minutes later it's gone. 5 minutes later it's gone.
Dream recall fluctuating seasonally. People remember fewer dreams during the winter months compared to spring and fall.
Really interesting.
And there's still a lot of mystery surrounding dreams. This is just another step in trying to understand how the brain processes and stores memories during sleep. Rockin' like dockin', the Dream Warrior. I had one the other night, too, and I was trying my hardest to remember it, because it's a dream. When I woke up, it's a dream I remember I've had before. Exact same dream.
Was it positive feelings
Don't
or
know.
negative or scary?
Don't know.
Scary?
Don't know.
You don't know if it was a nightmare? Or...
No. Nope.
How do you know you had it before? Same feeling, but I don't know.
Don't know, dude. Don't know. Just I know that when I woke up, I was like, holy crap, I had that dream again. And I'm trying to grasp onto it. but it's like a slippery rope. I got no shot, no chance. Yeah. I'm sure there's all sorts of things I could do, like writing something down right when I get up or whatever, or some sort of pre-sleep thing that I could do to maybe try to remember dreams better, but it's never been a thing for me.
Yeah, and I don't want to have that. I don't want to analyze all that.
Well,
right?
because your dreams are wacko. I mean, you got crazy dreams.
I have recurring themes for sure.
You're like, I had a dream last night about you, and we were in a car in England, and a kangaroo kicked you in the face, and then
you were a leopard.
And
Jump out of but I do have recurring dreams about houses, which I'm sure is a thing, and I don't want to learn about it. Right? We're either in the wrong house. We bought the wrong house. We're selling a house. We buy the dream house and things.
Yeah,
I know.
Dreams about.
Or we're living in a house, but then all of a sudden it's got this giant upstairs part of it that we never even knew was there. I mean, it's all sorts of different.
In dream interpretation, houses generally symbolize the dreamer's self, representing their inner world, sense of security, and personal foundation. So dreaming about houses can reflect feelings about your life, personal growth, and potential changes you might.
That says everything about every dream.
Yeah, that's such a generic, broad, non-specific.
Has something to do with you and how you're feeling in life and your reflection of your inner self. Okay, right, I know, but it's always houses.
Rise Against in just a bit. Rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. Looks like cloudy and somewhere around 20 for a high today.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Rise Against with Savior on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a text from Ryan. Said a few times a year, I'll have a dream about where I know I'm dreaming. And when it happens, I know I can say F it and do whatever I want, which is better than when I used to sleepwalk.
That's scary.
As far as I know, I don't have any of those weird sleep things where you walk or eat or have sex or whatever the hell people do.
My husband's developed that, like, since we've been married, and it's not often, and it's not usually walking. It's more like
getting up and
opening windows or shutting windows or like a specific not like just wandering around the house. Oh, not at all. Like having to wake him. What are you doing? Right? I remember Shaw's had Jack.
His kid
walked a lot, and they walked around.
Had to shut the doors and lock them from the inside and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, because he would
leave the house,
walking around.
Oof. Also, Nikki responded. I said that Jean was probably not going to use mouse traps to try to keep her dog from counter surfing. Nikki said, I was very hesitant since I didn't want to hurt them. However, they don't get their paws in the mouse traps. It only takes one time to set it off. I just keep moving the traps. They aren't set, and I move them to a spot I don't want them to go to. If there's a trap there or no trap, they will get right back on the counter. Good luck, Gene. This is the only thing that has worked for me. So it's a visual deterrent, right? They see it. They know that it makes a noise and it can hurt. So then they just say, nope, I'm not going over there.
Like I said, this is a rare occurrence with her, and she's a year and a half. It was Winnie it was nuts. That dog would get into everything all the time, even with lots of working at it. This dog, it's rare, but last night was as a matter of fact,
bones and all, or was it Brad?
It was boneless, skinless thighs.
Okay,
so
all right.
It was easy
not
consumption.
Not horking up chicken bones.
Easy consumption, but. Said, I'll save leftovers for you to my daughter. And then I was like, nope, not going to have leftovers.
1961. A San Diego mother making headlines when she rescued a drowning baby from the bottom of a backyard pool. Now here we are 64 years later. And the woman, who's now 94 years old, has been reunited with the guy that she saved when he was a toddler from the bottom of the pool.
This was never before, but now?
Hello, young man.
It's so nice to see you again.
Nice. Yeah, been a long time.
Ended up in the pool.
It's a mystery what prompted me to go where I did go. Scary, frightening.
Nobody really knew how long that I had
been down there. She had me give you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and it worked.
When I really think of it, I just think hand of God. He made sure that I made it for some reason.
The now 94-year-old Barbara Ribeiro making front page news in 1961 after she rescued Ben Cowell from the bottom of a pool. 1961, the parents at a neighborhood birthday party noticed the 21-month-old baby was missing. Barbara was at that party, said the parents had started to panic. Barbara's front door now opening, and there he is, 64 years later, Ben Cowell. She said, "Hello, young man. It's nice to see you." He said, "Yes, it's been a long time." And there's a picture of them from the newspaper article. He's obviously alive and smiling, and she's holding him and smiling at him. But the birthday party was across the street from Ben's childhood home. In 1961, he wandered away from the party, walked all the way down here, hung a right, and ended up in the pool. Parents fanning out, searching for him throughout the neighborhood.
Where's the kid gone?
And to this day, Barbara's not sure why she went to that home down the street with the pool. She could have walked to one of a dozen different houses. But that's where she went.
And you only have minutes.
She found Ben at the bottom of the pool. Scary, frightening. She said, "Yeah, the only thing that I have ever heard someone say, I think it was my mom telling me that when you guys found me, there wasn't any bubbles coming up. No one knew how long I had been down there." She jumped in, pulled him out. A neighbor then told her how to perform CPR. She had me do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and it worked. And here we are, 64 years later, and Ben finally, after all these years...
I can't believe it didn't happen before now. That seems unreal.
Well, I think there was like the cops showed up and the newspaper wrote an article and all that stuff, but ever since then, they just went their separate ways, and lived their own lives, and now here they are 64 years later reuniting. Yeah, pretty crazy. 64 years later.
Amazing.
Hypothetical Thursday. Questions. We got hypothetical questions, and we'll start asking them here in just a couple of minutes. Going to talk to Office Cora just after 8 o'clock as well, and we'll get to some Sublime and Black Veil Brides in a few minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Hypothetical Thursday, where we ask each other hypothetical questions to see what our responses would be. I will go first this week. You ready?
No, I already don't like whatever you're going to say because you have a stupid look on your face and you're grinning and I hate it.
You ready?
I already told you no.
You can only have one condiment to use on anything for the rest of your life. And that includes sauces.
What do you mean that includes sauces?
Like a topping. Like
a salad.
Spaghetti sauce. Like there's Alfredo, there's pasta, red sauce, all that stuff. You can only have one condiment/topping to use for the rest of your life. Ranch, ketchup, mustard, guacamole, I guess, is a topping. I don't know. More of a
is
dip.
Olive oil a topping? That's not a topping. I don't have to worry about that because I would pick olive oil.
That's
probably.
like a cooking. That's like a cooking thing. You know it when you're thinking of it. Salad dressings.
Yeah, no, I know.
Mayo. One condiment.
Sour cream.
Sour cream would be the one condiment.
Probably.
And you wouldn't have any others. You wouldn't be able to have ketchup. You wouldn't be able to have mustard.
Is cheese a condiment?
No, cheese is cheese.
Okay.
That's it's a topping.
Because I'm thinking about the fajitas last night. There was shredded cheese. There was sour cream. There was some taco sauce. And
refried beans. Did you remember those?
I had black beans.
You sure about that? You said that pretty quick. You didn't give it a lot of thought.
Well, I'm thinking because I can make I can make things with it.
Can't make a lot of dips with it because you got to add the mayo, right?
Yeah, you can make dips with sour cream.
You can, but it doesn't have that mayo flavor.
I can use it in, to make other things. I guess that's what I'm thinking about.
What are you going to put sour cream on a hot dog?
Mashed potatoes. If I don't have butter and I don't have other things, I could use it to make dips. I could use it to make. I could put it on my fajita like last night.
But you wouldn't have any taco sauce.
No, I know. I understand that I
salsa.
can't have something else if I have that. Salsa's a good one. Because the ketchup seems too
Ketchup's very universal. People put it on a lot of things.
It is universal, but
I mean, you could put ketchup on burgers and dogs, mac and cheese, chicken tenders, breakfast sandwich. I mean, you can put ketchup. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying you could.
Well, you can.
Are you rocking sour cream on all that stuff?
No. But, like, I could eat French fries without ketchup. I would prefer to have it, but if I can't,
Maybe
and like my kids ranch is the thing, right? They'll dip pizza in it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't need to dip pizza in.
My wife
anything.
is a pizza ranch person too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Occasionally, like
Garlic butter, that's another one.
If we had it, yeah. I mean, if I get garlic butter or marinara, then I'm all about that. But
and see, marinara is another one because I do like breadsticks.
But you think that sour cream is the most versatile of the condiments, huh?
I'm just thinking that my gut reaction was that.
I suppose you could probably find a good mix of spices to mix up in sour cream to make it look like a ketchup or taste similar to a ketchup, I guess. Sour cream, huh?
That's what I'm going with.
Super unoriginal. Very nice.
Thanks. You're
plain, white, unoriginal.
Yep, vanilla. It's pudding. No, it's not. It's sour cream.
Sour cream. One condiment for the rest of your life, and you're going sour cream?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Like I said, more for what I can do with it, lacking all the other ones.
I'm going mustard. After going to the mustard museum and realizing how many different kinds of mustard and flavors and different types and styles,
it was mind-blowing?
It's mind-blowing. It boggles the mind. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of different flavors of mustard, and that was just what they had in that one shop. I mean, there's probably mustards.
How many did you come home with? Did you buy a bunch?
Yeah. And we had to limit ourselves because I'm like, first of all, we don't need a lot of mustard. It's just the two of us, and we don't eat a lot of foods that require mustards. And I don't want to just start forcing food on ourselves that we have to eat because of this mustard. Second of all, it's expensive, man. Like, you know, they're talking like 10, 12, 15 bucks sometimes for a jar of these expensive mustards.
Interesting mustards.
But yeah, that mustard museum we went to, it was phenomenal. Not that I didn't already appreciate mustard or have different
Middleton,
varieties.
right outside of Madison?
Yeah, it's just outside of Madison. It's free to go. Doesn't cost you anything. They have a little donation thing at the bottom of the stairs that you can put a couple bucks in if you want. But if you want to take the, self-guided tour of the museum in the basement, you can do that. But, I mean, you got regular old yellow mustard, right? French's.
Well,
you got
a million.
brown. You got horseradish. You got stone ground. You got all sorts of stuff. I mean, we've got like, 7 different mustards in our fridge right now. They're delicious. They're all wonderful. And if you're ever stuffed up on a winter day and you need to open up, boy, you put that stuff in your mouth and you're breathing good. Mm-hmm. I would say mustard if I had to choose one, just simply for the variety. And I know that there's a bunch of different kinds of mayonnaise. But for the most part, mayonnaise is mayonnaise. And sour cream is that's it. I mean, you can put stuff in it.
I think that's what that's.
It's
I'm
the
using
base.
it to make
it's just
other
the base.
things. Yes.
The mustard, though, is wide variety. Somebody texted in and said ranch.
Well,
I get it. Ranch is we're getting mind controlled by the government to like ranch. Don't get me wrong.
We are not.
I think ranch is fine. I like it, but
well, you could use it for
people
lots of
are
things.
insane about ranch though. Like they're crazy. Like they can't live without it. They got little things they bring with them when they go places.
I have Hidden Valley Ranch socks at my house.
Yeah.
I do appreciate a good ranch.
Rockmornings.com for all our contact info. Hypothetical Thursday. My question for Gene was, if you could only have one condiment for the rest of your life without any others, what would you go with? And she said sour cream.
I think so. If I had hours to think about this, maybe I'd pick something else. But my gut reaction was sour cream because I can do lots of other cooking and things with it.
All right. We'll see what Gene has for me a bit later on. We'll also get to some Sublime after Black Veil Brides.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Sublime on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Bucks are at home tonight against the LA Clippers at 7 p.m. A return from the All-Star break. Looking like no Giannis.
Still resting.
Rehabbing, yeah. 11th ranked Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball team at home against unranked Oregon on Saturday. That's an 11 a.m. tip. It'll be on Fox. And, of course, tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN and ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, which is where I'll be, the USA versus Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship. very excited about that. The Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association, the WIAA, is the latest state sports organization to amend their trans athletes policies. WIAA announcing yesterday an update to its policies that stated only athletes designated as females at birth would be allowed to compete in girls' sports. The executive director of the WIAA, Stephanie Hauser, said in a statement, quote, "Today, the WIAA Board of Control voted to update the organization's policy regarding student-athlete eligibility, affirming its compliance with federal directives that only students designated as females at birth will be allowed to participate in girls' competitions. Working in consultation with legal counsel, our board updated this policy to ensure clarity is provided to our membership as they work to comply with new federal guidance from the White House." Elsewhere, nobody said criminals were smart. And the FBI showed us how dumb they could be. The Chilean gang that was breaking into athletes' houses, uploading photos of themselves wearing the jewelry and the clothing they stole to the iCloud, and that's how the FBI got them, apparently. Burglars who recently targeted famous athletes such as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Joe Burrow bounced around from city to city using cars that they rented with fake IDs. They would then ditch the cars as needed, along with the burner phones they used to coordinate with one another. They would then hide in the woods while monitoring the patterns of security guards and then break into the homes of wealthy athletes by breaking small windows or prying open sliding doors before converting jewel-encrusted watches, designer bags, gold chains, and rings into cash using loot launderers from far from their victims.
So they do all of this stuff and then put pictures of themselves on the internet with it?
Yeah, the stuff they stole had an estimated value of about $3 million taken from some of the best-known athletes. The FBI laying out how the gang members were undone by allegedly posting photos for co-conspirators to see via an iCloud site. Images obtained and released by the FBI show 3 of the alleged burglars, along with an unidentified fourth man, posing with watches apparently stolen from the home of Bucks forward Bobby Portis Jr. And largely because of the images, the men are in federal custody and have been charged with conspiracy to commit interstate transportation of stolen property. They could face up to 10 years in prison.
So they just couldn't help themselves for taking pictures of themselves.
They wanted to shine, and boy, did they ever. They shined all over the internet until the FBI caught up with them. Big dummies. But yeah, stealing a bunch of stuff out of famous athletes' houses.
Well, driving around.
Selling it on the black market.
Staking it out. Hiding in the wood, driving.
Well, they said it was highly organized. They didn't think it was just like rando people. They thought it was highly organized.
But they get busted by taking pictures wearing it. That's it. They
and when you see the pictures, it's even funnier because they just look like complete idiots.
Dude bros?
No, they're but like, they're smiling and like, look at me, I got a big watch and I stole it, and it's like, yeah. Nobody said criminals were smart.
They want luxury, the life of luxury.
Papa Roach in just a bit, plus Hypothetical Thursday continues with Gene asking me a hypothetical question. We'll get to that in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Scott Stapp, Black Butterfly. Boy, did those guys make it tough to decide for some people. The Creed, Nickelback, Summer of 99 thing.
Gosh.
Same weekend as Rockfest.
East Troy.
I know a lot of my
Alpine
friends
Valley.
and people that go to Rockfest every year are like, why? Why does it have to be the same weekend?
Pick any other weekend.
Yeah.
What else was on that? Lit, right?
I think I saw Three Doors Down, Seven Dust. I think, was it Matchbox 20? Might have been on there. Tonic, I think, as well. But yeah, it was quite a lineup there. Text from Rob. Hypothetical Thursday. You could only have one condiment for the rest of your life. What would it be?
Is this a ranch thing?
Gene went with sour cream. I chose mustard. Tom from Cashton said mustard for the win. I agree. Honey mustard for me. We did get a text from someone. Jamie and Eau Claire said you're both wrong. Hot sauce is the only answer.
I was waiting for a sriracha or something like that.
I said that hot sauce is for commies and Satanists. Gross. He said, hail Satan, bitches. Somebody else did text in and say ranch. Doc said, what heathen dares desecrate his mac and cheese with ketchup? How atrocious. I don't know, but I've seen people do it.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And Rob texted in and said, for condiments, I'd have to say ketchup. But going with Gene's logic, butter would be a better answer.
I know, I thought about that too.
I don't really think of butter as a condiment. And even sour cream is kind of like pushing it.
Well, that was the olive oil question because it's not a condiment, but it.
I don't think of olive oil as a condiment at all.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you use it to cook with.
Kind of like the butter thing, but yet that is a condiment, I suppose.
But you can put butter on top of things like toast or English muffins.
Baked potato.
Yeah, but it's still, I don't know if I would think of it as a condiment. I don't know. You think of condiments as the stuff on your door, right? The shelves on the door, ketchups and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't keep my sour cream there.
Hypothetical Thursday. Rockmornings.com to get in touch with us. Your turn.
Unfortunately, mine is also if you could only do one thing kind of a question. And we don't talk to each other about these, so I didn't know. And I think I actually know your answer. But if there was only one season for all time, what season would we be in? Would you want to be in?
I would probably go. It's not winter or summer. I know that.
I know that too.
It's either fall or spring. And it's a tough battle because I like spring because you still get some of that chilliness. You get a lot more precipitation, right? Rain, thunderstorms. But in spring, I also think about, sports. And there's no NFL. But there is baseball. There's still hockey. There's still basketball, NASCAR.
But that's true of the fall.
But then there's also in the fall, there's that with football. But in the fall, you've got leaves that you got to rake.
Oktoberfest
And
beers.
Oktoberfest is,
Oktoberfest beers.
Yeah. And you still, and fall, you also get, some of those really nice warm days along with some of the cooler days. But I do like the greenness of my lawn in the spring versus the brownness in the fall and everything coming to life. And that first day, if you're not a person that goes out for walks in the middle of winter, for whatever reason, that first day when it's like 60 out and it just feels like the most perfect thing of all time. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. We get the motorcycle out.
Yeah, you can still ride in the fall or the spring. One season. I would have to. It'd probably be fall.
That's what I thought you'd say.
Spring is a tough competitor, but the lack of football really hurts spring. It really does. But you got to figure. I mean, you think fall, right? We're talking September, October, November. You've got playoff baseball. The NFL's just starting. NASCAR season's coming to an end. The NHL's getting kicked up in October, right? Their season starts. NBA kicks off in October as well. So all the major sports are going. As you mentioned, fest beers are coming onto the shelves now in late July, early August. So, I mean, I've got a full plethora of that. You can still ride the Harley in fall. The raking is really the only thing that I have a problem with. It's miserable. It's misery, right? And there's still good days with the lawn in September and October.
Lots. Campfires are the best probably in the fall.
Yeah. I think if I could have one, and we're talking our weather here, right? We're not talking somewhere else.
Yeah, of course.
Where they don't experience the seasons like we do. Yeah, I would go with fall or autumn. Is that what you'd say?
Pumpkin spice, bitches.
As a person who also wears shorts and hoodies pretty much all year long, it's nice too because you don't get those people that are always giving you a hard time about wearing shorts because it's like, yeah, it's nice out. Would you go fall?
No.
Your spring?
I'm probably summer.
Ugh.
I'm probably summer.
That's gross.
The swimming, the outdoor activities, the all of the things being in full bloom, the vibe, the dresses and Birkenstocks. All of it. The ease of all of that. The food, farmers markets, and the stuff that's easy to make. And
There's farmers markets in the fall.
Yeah. I'm telling you why I'm picking summer for me.
Gross.
Windows open.
No, windows closed with the AC on, cranked, 64. Stay inside. That's the nice thing about the fall. You don't have to do that.
Well, I don't do that.
Ugh. Tom said summer equals swamp ass season. Yeah. I am a no-go on summer. No-go. If I could skip over summer and get rid of it completely, that would be a better option. Rather than have fall, if we could just get rid of summer and have the other
Summer
three.
nights on like a lake.
No thanks. A crisp October night at the lake with a fire pit.
Lightning bugs and not getting dark until 10 o'clock at night.
Give me the darkness all day.
I know.
Dark all day.
That's why.
Yeah, I'm not in on summer. I'm out on summer. I'll take the fall. You can have your summer with your sweaty pits and grossness. Ugh, bugs. All the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
The heat, the sweatiness.
Bugs in the fall. It's all those stupid
So many bugs in the summer.
box elder bugs and those little tiny Asian.
Not if you spray. We didn't have any this year. We paid for it, $120. They came over, they sprayed, didn't have one of them in our house this year. No stink bugs. It completely worked. Rockmornings.com is the website for all of our contact info. You can listen to the show live there. Check out the daily podcast as well. Hypothetical Thursdays. Jean asking me which season I would go with if I could only choose one. Fall would be my choice. She, like usual, is going with the worst of the options and choosing summer.
Not.
3 doors down.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
3 doors down, Loser on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene.
Where am I going?
How much money would it take for you to quit your job, drop everything, and travel the world?
Well,
let's just say you're in a situation where you could actually do that. You're married, you got kids, other responsibilities. It's highly unlikely that you could just drop everything
and tour the world.
By yourself.
Oh, I'm not going by myself.
Somebody polled a bunch of Americans, and the average answer was $288,000. These must be young people who don't have mortgages and wives and dogs. 18% of people said they'd take off for less than $50,000.
How long am I off? Like for the rest of my life?
Travel the world until you run out of money, right? Until you got to come home and go back to work, I guess. Right? Until the well dries up. 32% said they need at least $500,000 to do that.
Yeah.
And this last group either loves their job or hates traveling. Only 17% said no amount of money would get them to drop everything and leave.
Not no amount of money.
I
think it would have to be more of like $500,000 million kind of thing. Because am I returning to go to work? Like, how long is this adventure where I'm on the road?
Well, again, like I said, I think it's just more of you get a bunch of money and you now have the option to travel the world and you go until the money's gone, right?
And then I've got to go back to reality then? That stinks.
Well, yeah, reality stinks.
Maybe less.
The poll also asking people what they would do if they suddenly had $1 million travel budget that you had to spend. Number 1, take your family and friends on a dream vacation.
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
Absolutely.
Make sure the park's open when you get in the car, the family truckster. Go on a really long trip.
Yeah. Month.
Visit as many famous landmarks as you could. Mm-hmm. Visit the 7 wonders of the world or other historical sites.
Nice.
And then start working on a travel bucket list. I wouldn't need to start. I'd just get in the car and go.
Yeah. I always thought every national park would be a cool thing to do.
Yeah, we want to do the ballparks and breweries and all that stuff.
I've been to a handful, but nowhere near all.
That's the plan when we get retired, hopefully, is to
all
do some of that.
States.
Do some of that traveling.
I guess what we do is just drive around this circle here. It should be the second left exit. There's a hotel. Hey, look, kids. There's Big Ben and there's Parliament.
You wouldn't go to Vegas and try to make that into more money?
Bro, I can't. I have such a problem. It's not good. And
so you wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. What is that? When you face your fears, you immerse yourself in them. It's like throwing people in the ocean that are afraid of sharks, and then I'll just...
You could go on a cruise.
I'm not doing any of that. No. That's like Jack Black in Tropic Thunder when he comes across the heroin. He's like, man, if I go down there, I'm going to do all the effing heroin. It's like...
You go swimming, snorkeling, scuba diving?
If that $1 million, it would be gone in like an hour. I'd be stupid spending money when it comes to gambling.
Yeah. Well, not that. Maybe a one of those cabins that's out over the water. You know what I mean?
I'm not doing that either. The Maldives, one of those
where
things.
Over
where you can see them swimming under. No,
yeah.
hell no. Nope. Where a big wave could just push one right up into your cabin. No, that's not happening. Nope. But apparently, according to a poll, $288,000 is what it'll take to get people to quit their job and travel the world. You got to have very few responsibilities to do that. I mean, you really you must be living with somebody, or like not have your own house or any animals or real
that's what I'm
ties.
saying. You have to quit your job, pay off all of your
you don't have to pay anything off. You just get in the car and go, right? Yeah.
But then someday they're coming knocking.
The bill comes due.
Yeah.
Yes, the bill does come due.
Yes,
at some point. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Soundgarden on the way. Office Cora going to join us as well to talk about what's happening with her this weekend in the 715. And if you want to reach out and get in touch with us, visit rockmornings.com for all our contact info.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m.
Rest in peace, Chris Cornell. Soundgarden with Black Hole Sun. A text from Scott said, you haven't lived until you survived summer in Arizona.
I don't want that.
No.
I do not want that.
No. I had a very close friend of mine who lived out there for a number of years. And her thing with me, one of the things was she would text me the first day it got over 100 degrees in the new year. And it was always in March. I was like, no, bro, I can't handle that. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Brutal. Happy birthday, Rihanna. She's 37. Miles Teller, the actor, 38. Top Gun Maverick, Divergent, Whiplash, Footloose, a bunch of other stuff. Trevor Noah, former Daily Show host, is 41. Cindy Crawford, how old do you think Cindy Crawford is?
60.
Close, 59. Cindy Crawford, 59.
No rock, no jock, no Ed, no Dre, no Paul, no Joyner. All I want is Cindy Crawford, okay? House of Style, 24 hours a day. No MTV news unless it's news about Cindy. What she's doing, what she's wearing, what she smells like, okay? No music unless it's songs about Cindy, okay? I want half-hour specials about Cindy. I want hour-long documentaries about Cindy. I want Cindy unplugged. I want acoustic Cindy. I want long, drawn-out slow-motion shots of Cindy walking, Cindy sleeping, Cindy eating an Eskimo pie naked on the roof of the Empire State Building, okay? I want to change the House of Style to the House of Cindy. Not MTV, CTV. No rock, no promos, no Richard Gere, just me and Cindy, okay? I think you hear me knocking, Richard, and I think I'm coming in, and I got a box full of Eskimo pies with me.
Cindy Crawford, 59 years young today. Charles Barkley is 62.
That's a terrible idea.
Barkley, the round mound to rebound. Yep. John Brandt, the bass player for Cheap Trick, 71. Sidney Poitier, born on this day in 1927. He died in 2022.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
That will always have a special place in my heart, not because I care about Sidney Poitier or that movie, but because it was one of the first lines I ever had on record for us when we started doing What Did On Say so many years ago. Rest in peace, On. They call me Mr. Tiss. You couldn't get it. Go figure. And also born on this day in 1967, he died in 1994 by Shunga Blast, Kurt Cobain, leader of a generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Born on this day in 1946, dying in 2017, John Jerome Giles, the leader of the J. Giles Band. Had a string of hits.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Centerfold, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Love stinks, Gene.
Love stinks.
Yeah.
It does.
It does stink.
It can. Anyway.
February 20th, 233 years ago, 1792. The president at the time, George Washington, excuse me.
There you go.
Created the U.S. Post. What the hell's that?
U.S. Postal Service?
Jesus, I'm a mess right now. The U.S. Postal Service was created on this day in 1792.
I'm a United States postal worker.
Aren't those the guys that always go crazy and come back with a gun and shoot everybody?
Sometimes.
Because the mail never stops. Newman. 63 years ago today in 1962, John Glenn, the astronaut, became the first American to orbit the Earth, flying aboard Friendship 7.
They're going to launch a manned aircraft or spaceship, I guess, to the space station in like March. They finally have the people going up to relieve the other people that
Playing
have been
tennis on Mars, bitches.
that have been there forever on the space station.
1996, a couple of albums in stores on this day, February 20th. One of them was Sepultura, their 6th album, Roots. And also a band that I love.
Yeah.
The Fun Loving Criminals dropped their debut album, Come Find Yourself, featuring their only hit. Scooby Snacks.
Scooby Snacks.
Yeah. 2003, 22 years ago today, the Station nightclub fire erupting at a Great White concert, claiming the lives of 100 concertgoers, innocent people that were trampled trying to escape after a pyrotechnic device ignited some packing foam near the stage.
Yeah, in like a basement.
Yeah, and a bunch of other people got injured as well.
There's no way to get out.
Yeah. And there you go. Some stuff that happened on February 20th along with some birthdays. Office Cora is going to join us next, talk about what she's up to this weekend. And the 715 will do that here in just a couple minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. And on Thursdays, just after 8 o'clock, right around 8:15, we get on the phone with Office Cora. How are you?
I'm doing really well, except for a weird thing that you convinced me to do last week during Hypothetical Thursday.
Yes, Hypothetical Thursday.
You said if you could be any animal, what would you be? And I just thought it would be really fun to be a horse. And then you mentioned prancercise and that I should look at this video, and I cannot get this out of my head. Brian, I don't know if you've seen it lately, but it's so creepy. And I can just say that instead of thinking of a horse, you just think of a camel because
I know.
It's in your face.
Yeah, well, it's there.
And it's so bad.
Well, that was part of the reason why we wanted to talk to the prancer-sized lady all those years ago. And it's a scene, man. It's a scene. But I'm glad that you now are aware of the prancer-sized videos that we were made aware of many years ago. But today is another Hypothetical Thursday, Office Cora. Would you like us to ask you the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, my question for Gene was, if you could only use one condiment for the rest of your life, you're thinking ketchup, mustard, ranch, mayonnaise, those kind of things, what condiment would it be?
Oh, probably ranch.
Ranch? You're a ranch girl?
I'm a ranch girl.
What's the weirdest thing you put ranch on?
I really like dipping pizza in it. I think that's common in Wisconsin. We're ranch people.
Yeah. It is common in Wisconsin.
Gene's question for me was, if you could only have one season and you had to have it all year long, what season would it be? Would it be spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Oh, I absolutely love the fall.
My girl, right there.
The fall.
Yeah, fall. The weather's so much better.
The fall has it all.
Yeah, it does. Football and better weather, good beers, Oktoberfest.
Oh, right. All the stuff. Beautiful. The trees, the leaves changing color. So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I did say that raking leaves were my least favorite thing about the fall, but that was really the only thing about fall that I came up with I didn't like.
Right. And I was talking about the day before they fall off the tree. That's my favorite.
All right. Office Cora is going to be busy this weekend. You're going to the Bracket Bar for snowmobile dudes. What's the deal here?
Yeah, they're called the Bracketeers Snowmobile. Let me say this correctly.
Okay.
The Bracketeers Snowmobile Club, and they're having a vintage snowmobile show at the Bracket Bar, which just going to the Bracket Bar is a pretty good time.
Yeah, Gene was looking at their Facebook page and said they got like a hell of a good pizza and they got a burger of the week.
Yeah.
So good. It looks
what's
so good.
What's the spooky spin situation in the Bracket Bar? Do they pay out day of, or do you got to come back the next day to get your jackpots?
I guess I don't know that. I've never won.
So Bracket Bar is in Fall Creek, and vintage snowmobiles. That's pretty cool and unique and fun.
And they're having a drawing for a vintage sled.
So you can go there and check out some vintage sleds and maybe win one?
Yep.
Look at
There's prizes, there's raffles,
bro.
there's food, there's fun, and there's a vintage sled. Have a bloody, for sure.
I don't know about that broccoli pizza over there. That looks like some kind of wizardry, but the one underneath it with the cheese and onions and the meat, that's my jam.
Look at those.
Why would you put that one on top? Don't put that one on top with the garbage on top of it. Is it a taco pizza? Is that why it's so green?
Those
and
look like pickled eggs in the bloodies.
Yeah,
over
I know. They got pickled eggs. They got
Yeah.
cheese and all that stuff.
Yum.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Bracket Bar.
They are loaded.
Saturday.
That's what she said.
Yep, starts at 10 o'clock.
All right, Saturday, 10 o'clock, Bracket Bar, vintage snowmobile show, and your chance to win a vintage snowmobile and hang out at the Bracket Bar, drink some old styles, and have some bloodies. It'd be good times.
Exactly.
What else is on your agenda this weekend, Office Cora?
Now you got me thinking pizza, and there's a wild workshop where you learn the basics of making pizza dough from scratch, and then you like the kneading, the topping, and of course the eating. And you can make pizzas, breadsticks, calzones, strombolis. You leave with a full belly, recipes, homemade marinara sauce, and your dough. It's $35, and it's at the old Banbury building.
The old Banbury building, and when is that?
Saturday, 1 to 3.
Saturday, 1 to 3. Go make some pizza dough and bring it home with you, and then make some pizza.
Exactly. And okay, here's my question. I am really feeling adventurous. I've been cooped up inside all week, and I want to get out there and try ice fishing. I've never done this, but if anyone out there knows if it's a thing where you can rent like an ice house, an ice shanty.
There you
I
go.
really need to know that. Because you know how I rent out rooms in my house?
We're well
I was
aware.
just thinking, these are... There's got to be people out there who rent out their little ice houses when they're not using them. I need to find...
Office Cora, what website do you list your rooms on when you have strangers move into your home with you?
Oh, it's an app called Furnished Finders.
And they don't have ice shanties on there?
No.
Well, maybe there's an app
they
for ice
should,
shanties.
because I'm looking right now. It's my goal for the weekend.
I don't know if people
And
rent them
I
out,
will
but
share
maybe somebody
any
will
fish
bring you
that I
along.
catch.
Somebody might bring you along.
And they might rent them, but
that could be in the contract.
Do you know any of the ice fishing lingo? Do you know any of that stuff? You know any of the verbiage? Like put your tip in? Do you know about putting your tip in?
That could be in the contract. I will share any fish that I catch.
Do you know about the lingo? Have you been studying up on it? Because there's certain things you can say in an ice shanty that you can't say other places.
True. About the size of their hole, for instance.
Is she not hearing us?
I'm back.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
All right, we had a little.
I heard something about a hole. I heard Gene talk about a hole.
Have you ever
I'm hoping
discussed?
you're still talking about fish.
Yeah. Have you ever discussed with another person in an ice shanty how big their hole is?
No, but I've never been in an ice shanty yet.
Well, I think
I need to
look around because
I need to experience this.
I think UW Eau Claire does a annual Jigs Up kind of tournament. Maybe you get involved in that and you go out there and you see if you can win the tournament. But you got to stop saying your little fishing shanty. Like guys don't like to hear about their little shanty.
Oh, see, these are the things I need to know. Thank you, Gene.
I don't know if you'll be able to rent one, but you might be able to go along with somebody. That may be a first time ice fishing. Just go have someone bring you with them.
I like that.
Rather than renting your own and trying to set it all up. Like they're responsible for all the setup and tear down, and you just show up and sort of learn the tricks of the trade.
Kind of like a guided outfitter.
I'm just there for the fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
And, you bring beer and snacks, obviously. That's your requirements.
Exactly. I could have a Bloody Mary bar set up in there.
Let's not push it too far, right? You're out on the ice here. Yeah. Let's just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Beers and maybe some snacks, some pretzels,
I happen to know where I can get some Bloody Mary snack sticks.
All right.
So that is definitely a possibility.
Office Cora each and every Thursday, just after 8 o'clock, talking about what she's got going on this weekend in the 715. How's the roommate situation? Is everything good in the house? Have you ever had, roommates fight? like a fist fight or like get angry with each other and you have to have one move out?
We are a non-violent group.
All right.
We're just chill.
Chill.
Yeah, we're very chill.
Seems like a situation where it could be very pressure cooker.
No, the house smells like patchouli. They're just kicking back.
High.
They're kicking back. You know what I'm saying? That's
Smoking
some
doobies.
incense burning right there.
Smoking some doobies.
That is incense.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Cora.
I'm just saying no comment. Yes, thank you. I will talk to you guys next week.
Office Cora each and every Thursday at about 8:15. What's happening in the 715? That snowmobile thing sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
At the Bracket Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Go have some bloodies and some pizza.
Look at old.
What kind of pizza was that one? The green one. Was it a broccoli pizza
It
or was
looked
it
like
a
a
taco?
BLT kind of thing.
Okay. It looked like a lot of broccoli on there.
It wasn't broccoli. It was like lettuce or arugula or some sort of.
Even worse.
greenery.
You know what's worse than broccoli? Arugula.
Not. Look fun though.
Hell of a bar.
Mm-hmm.
The friggin' sports is coming up in just a couple of minutes. But first, it's Disturbed.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Disturbed with voices on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. A text from Chris in Alabama said that Office Cora needs to start coming up with a hypothetical for you guys as well. It is Hypothetical Thursday, so that's a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
I first saw this on Barstool yesterday, and then I did a little digging, and there's not a lot of info about it because it's from Romania. But it's wild.
Is this like gymnasts?
Nope.
Wrestlers?
Close.
Hockey players?
A little cooler.
Close to wrestlers.
Combat sports enthusiasts were stunned after seeing one of the most bizarre fights in MMA history. The fight witnessed 10 lighter-built amateurs go head-to-head against 2 professional heavyweights in a wild showdown.
So at the same time? Like a bunch of lightweights?
2 professional heavyweights on one side. Come look at the photo.
And then there's 10
And then 10 lighter guys that are like amateurs.
So it's like, would you rather fight one fifth grader or 10
One horse,
kindergartners?
what is it,
Yeah.
horse-sized duck or 1,000 duck-sized horses?
Yes.
All-out war. 12 men in total stepping foot into the octagon. If you haven't seen the videos and the photos of this, it's the scene, man. It's crazy. So this is the footage of from above of them before the fight happens. These are the 2 like professionals. These are the amateurs. And then you scroll down, look at this guy. Like, they're all trying to punch him at the same time. It's crazy. Both teams trading heavy leather. Several knockdowns. Amateurs put on a good show. At one point, even managing to floor one of the professionals. The encounter was put on by Real Extreme Fighting, a Romanian MMA promotion, and fans had a lot to say after watching the fight. Somebody on Twitter said, "This is pure madness. What is happening?" Another person said, "How did these get sanctioned?" Well, it's Romania. They probably have a lot less rules than we do in America.
It's Fight Club. Just go in there and...
A third person on Twitter said, quote, "We live in the best era in history." A fourth person said, I've always thought it would be interesting to see a tag team MMA match. This is pretty much what I expected, and I love it. The 10 amateur fighters, evidently smaller in stature, split into groups in an attempt to break up the pros at the beginning of the fight. However, the professionals able to weather the storm early and then started picking off the amateurs one by one. You should see the one with the guys running away. It's great. The big heavyweight, he's just loading up, dude. He's coming with a haymaker, and the little guy looks like Patrick Mahomes. Like, ah! He's like, don't hit me. The big men then started to land some heavy blows on the smaller opponents. Unfortunately, those guys did not get to see the light of day after that. Some of them got knocked out. By the way, the professionals won. They had their hands raised. Crazy. If you haven't seen it yet, feel free to give it a Google. It was on Barstool a day or 2 ago.
Things out of Romania.
Real Extreme Fighting, a Romanian MMA promotion, putting on a 2 versus 10.
2 versus 20. How about they do that next time?
I'm all for it. I like gimmick matches. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like to see 2 full-fledged professionals in the octagon going at it, right? 2 guys who know what they're doing. But you give me a weird gimmick match every once in a while, I'm here for it, bro. That's what we love about wrestling, right? You throw in some chairs and some tables and some
stuff
ladders.
Unexpected and
takes
it up a notch.
Barbed
you can't
wire,
even see
Hell in a Cell.
in the middle. Just
don't have to. You just got to stand there and wait it out. Eventually, those dudes tire themselves out, and then he just starts landing haymakers. Love it. The friggin' sports brought to you by Romanian MMA. Bad News, Happy Music is coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Is it starting with Florida Man?
No, we're starting in California. A new bill introduced into California's legislature seeks to recognize Bigfoot as the state's official cryptid.
There are no abominable snowmen. There are no Sasquatches. There are no big feet.
Sounds like there is.
The legislation proposed by Assemblymember Chris Roger would designate Bigfoot as an official mascot of the Golden State, which has been a hotbed of Squatch sightings since the late 1950s. Cryptid is a term used for mythical creatures that are known to have all sorts of weird characteristics, mostly through folklore, but have never been definitely proven to exist. Like in Wisconsin, would it be the Beast of Bray Road?
I don't know.
What's the cryptid of Wisconsin?
I didn't know there was such a thing. So it's a made-up thing?
CRYPTID, cryptid, if you want to look it up. You never heard of cryptids?
Well, yeah, but like...
So like the New Jersey Devil, the Mothman, the Chupacabra down in Mexico, these are fictional folklore animals and beings that are usually confined to one area. And apparently in California, they figured out all their problems, and now they want to make Bigfoot the official state cryptid. It's more about putting it on a T-shirt and making money.
Hodag, Beast of Bray Road, Lake Serpents.
Yeah, Loch Ness, right? Nessie.
But that's what Wisconsin would pick, probably.
Rogers, the...
Goat Man.
The guy who, the blood-sucking goat man, right?
Goat Man.
The guy who introduced the bill said, the question of which mythical creature best represents California is a hairy one. But we feel it's time to squash the beef. It's not the Tahoe Tessie or El Chupacabra that generates buzz or interest from outdoor enthusiasts. It's Bigfoot. And again, this has a lot more to do with putting it on a T-shirt and making money.
You can explore the Wisconsin Paranormal Convention in Appleton, May 9th through the 11th this year. Bigfoot Expedition.
There you go.
VIP paranormal investigations, speakers, vendors, and more.
Since we're on the hypothetical on Thursday, of all of the booby traps in Home Alone, which one do you think hurt the worst? And you don't have to remember them all, but just which one pops up that you think would hurt the worst?
I don't know. The iron burn on the face, maybe?
Yeah, so when he opens the door and it burns him on the head?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the iron? When it comes down to,
I don't know. The head one's real bad, too, though.
Stepping on that nail gets me every time.
Oh,
it's like 4 inches long, and he just goes all the way down on it. And I get that phantom pain. Bizarre moment, a bungling burglar is caught by a Home Alone-style bucket trap. Getting hit by paint cans going up the stairs, that would hurt. Paul Howell is seen on CCTV prowling around the back of a house at about 3 a.m. back in November of last year. He was spooked when he tripped over a string that was tied to a bucket of water, which tipped over and soaked his shoes. He then fled the property, but was caught days later. The savvy homeowners had laid the trap out, which had been targeted several times before.
So they really did put it as a trap. It wasn't an accident.
Well, it wasn't intended to injure. It's just a little plastic bucket with water. It's intended to scare off whoever's doing it, but when they spotted the upturned bucket, they checked their CCTV and contacted police, and officers recognized the prolific crook, apparently, and arrested him at his home. Knew exactly who. Oh, we know who that is. That's Josh. We got to go pick him up.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
little plastic yellow bucket full of water.
Did the trick.
Scared him off, and then he got busted.
Uh-huh.
Crazy. You've had run-ins with neighbors.
I have.
We don't have to go into specifics. I think we all have had issues with neighbors at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
My
times,
neighbors are great.
A lot of times it's when you first move into a neighborhood, right? You don't know them, they don't know you. There's probably been some agreements with the previous owners, maybe, that you were unaware of.
Mm-hmm.
This is in, I don't know where this is, England somewhere. Ken and Diane Lott, who are both 81 years old, in tears when they arrived home from a recent trip and saw the damage that was done to their mailbox. CCTV shows the moment a mystery neighbor from hell stuffs poop into their letterbox. And it's, the pictures are, I mean, we're talking covered in poo. We're not talking like a little nugget. We're talking like poo smeared all over. This is in the door, by the way, where you put the letters in, and so it's all over the hatch that goes up.
On video,
and there's poo all over, like where the letters slide in. Oh, it's just gross. Manure, they're saying, not human poop, but apparently manure. The couple live in Essex. Found the manure that had been smeared across their letterbox during the incident, which was caught on CCTV. It shows a woman the day before they returned at the front of their property holding the manure in a newspaper. And shows a woman at the front door what is believed to be the lid of glue in her mouth, and she leans over the keyhole. So she's not only pushing poop through their mail slot in their door, they're
locking her key.
Putting glue in their lock so they can't open their door. Apparently, they had similar vandalism in April of last year. They believe the same person is responsible for both incidents.
And she's a neighbor?
And they're now appealing for the woman to stop. The daughter
of these 81-year-old people?
The daughter, Julie, horrified by the attack on her parents' home, put the pictures up from the CCTV footage online. Said, my mom was in tears last night. Both my parents are incredibly distressed. No one needs things like this happening at any time in their life, let alone at the age of 81.
They don't need that.
Yeah. Apparently they also had some kind of like paint remover sprayed on their vehicles and stuff. But
what is this lady's problem?
I don't know.
Is she targeting just them, or is it like she's walking around doing this to random people, or she has a beef?
Not sure. Wouldn't want to come home and find poop in my mailbox, though.
Or my lock. Sure.
I don't know much about getting pregnant and IVF and all that stuff, but this is a crazy story. Anytime you get the wrong baby. A 38-year-old woman named Christina Murray is now suing a fertility clinic in Georgia after they implanted the wrong embryo, and she gave birth to somebody else's baby.
Yep.
I think surrogate mom type stuff, right? But unbeknownst to her, thought it was her egg.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I saw an interview with this woman.
She used a donor to get pregnant back in 2023, gave birth that December, but immediately knew something was wrong because she's white.
Yep, it's an African-American baby.
And the baby was not.
Yep.
Black.
I saw her talking about this lawsuit because
she selected a donor with dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. Took the baby home, cared for him anyways. Not the baby's fault. Right?
10 months or 9 months or something like that.
She bought an at-home DNA test and got the results a month later. The test confirmed that she and the boy were not related. She told the clinic, and they figured out the embryo belonged to another couple who were also clients at the clinic. So that couple had to sue Christina for custody, and she gave up the kid voluntarily.
Yeah,
he was about 5 months old by that point.
Okay, that's what it was.
Her lawyers say the whole thing, though, has been devastating. She bonded with the child, breastfed him, took him to all his doctor's appointments, hasn't seen him since.
Yeah, she gave birth. She carried him.
Not quite sure how much she's asking for, but the lawsuit says in excess of $75,000. This, of course, is against the fertility clinic, not against the couple that wanted their baby. The fertility place put out a statement saying that they immediately did an in-depth review and put additional safeguards in place to make sure it never happens again. Well, gee, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. See, that's a lawsuit I think that's justified.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. To carry a baby, fall in love with him, deliver him, and build the uniquely special bond between mother and baby, all to have it taken away. I'll never fully recover from this.
Yeah, and she voluntarily gave him
Right, well, she knew. Look, this is their
parents,
child,
that's
right?
it.
Yeah, and cool on her for doing that, right? But at the same time, devastating. The fertility clinic said this was an isolated event with no further patients affected. The same day this error was discovered, we immediately conducted an in-depth review and put additional safeguards in place to further protect patients and to ensure that such an incident does not happen again. Yeah, well,
so they say. How did they?
Little
It's
late
never
for that.
happened again, just that one time, and it won't happen.
Well, what if the baby hadn't been a different color?
That's what I'm saying.
And she goes home and
never knows.
And years later finds out. Oh, and then the kid's got to come to terms with that as well. Like, yeah, ugh. Crazy. That's not your baby. Yeah. Last but not least, this is in Brazil. Davi Nunez Moreira, 14, dying in a hospital after his health suddenly deteriorated and he began vomiting. He had told his father at first that he had hurt himself while playing after picking up a limp, that he had hurt himself, right? He got a limp, hurt his leg.
Yeah.
But as his condition got worse, Davi is said to have told the medics he went to a chemist's, mixed a dead butterfly in water, and then injected the liquid into his leg. The death possibly linked to toxins in the mix, which could have caused his body to shut down as he went into septic shock, continues to make headlines in Brazil. A 14-year-old boy in Brazil believed to have died after injecting himself with butterfly remains mixed with water as part of an online challenge. Much like the Tide Pods and all the other stupid stuff that we see, this kid apparently saw it online that you can inject yourself with butterfly remains, and now he's dead. Police are awaiting a full post-mortem after opening the investigation into the claims. Some Brazilian media openly speculating that he had picked up on an experiment he saw online.
Was it
Although he is said to have denied that before his death.
Was it some sort of crazy moth thing that had poison in it, or what?
No idea. A professor of the Sao Paulo University Zoology Museum and a butterfly specialist said butterflies have a complex biology, and the fluids present in their bodies have not been studied in depth in terms of their toxicity to humans.
That's why.
The milkweed monarch butterflies feed on as caterpillars is actually a poisonous toxin and is stored in the bodies. This is what makes the monarch butterfly taste so terrible to predators. Although experts have been quick to point out the amount of these toxins tend to be too small to present a serious risk to human health. But yeah, apparently injected himself with butterfly remains mixed with water.
And then went into septic shock.
And then died.
Yeah.
Ugh. Bad news, happy music on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to our daily check-ins after Filter.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com. Find all our contact info there. Register to win prizes. Listen to the show live. Check out the daily podcast. Big thanks to Mike, who sent us a message on Facebook and said, your show is another perfect example of how leftists ruin everything. Have we ruined everything? Are we leftists?
I'm not. No, I guess I don't think so. Why? Because of the sour cream thing?
I don't know. Don't know what he's referencing, to be perfectly honest. There's no more information. But he's mad and he told us about it. So
okay.
Sorry, Mike. I hope your day gets better. You could just not listen. Got no problem with that either. T-Stat texted in and said the worst trap in Home Alone is the Christmas ornaments. No way you're getting out all those shards.
Oh, yeah, when it goes and it's all on.
I said that I think that he had the roofing tar on the bottom of his feet at that point, right? Because he had gone up the stairs and got it all over the bottom of his feet, and then he stepped on the nail, and then he went back around and came through the window.
Yes.
So, like, that roofing tar would protect his skin in some way, shape, or form, right? From all
More would stick to it, but I understand what they're saying. That's where you get all the pieces out, but those little tiny splinters of
slivers,
glass
yeah.
never come out.
Chris in Alabama said Office Cora needs to start coming up with a hypothetical for you guys as well. That's a good suggestion. Make sure to bring that up at the next Teams meeting. Scott said you haven't lived until you survived summer in Arizona.
Yeah, I was going to tell you last night in Rio, by the way, yesterday, it was like their earliest, warmest day on record or something. It was 111 degrees yesterday in February. I know their seasons are different, but that is hot.
Somebody asked about condiments, asking if you can create other condiments with one condiment.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and much like your argument with the sour cream, if you put some kind of seasoning in there or a soup packet, now you've got
French onion dip. I've got some.
This person said ketchup because you can add stuff to make barbecue sauces, maybe
true.
peppers, make a hot sauce, that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can use it as a base. I mean, you think of like you put brown sugar in there and put on a meatloaf.
Sloppy Joes. Sloppy Joes.
Tom said mustard for the win. I agree. Honey mustard for me. Also agreed that summer equals swamp ass season. Mel said I would pick mayo because you can add other things to mayo to make different flavors. Yeah, the mustard already comes in all the different flavors. That's why I went mustard for my condiment choice. Gene went sour cream.